He told everybody I'd record it so we could send it out to them. Shut down here. That's to the lady in the trailer back here.
Oh,
That was his name that used to live in there with his wife and kids. Then he sold the property to Brian and Janet. He works for the city of Georgetown.
oh, I thought she worked at the mine. That's what. I thought
She might, but he works.
Oh, yeah, he
for-
works at
yeah,
Georgetown.
Yeah, I don't know what she does. I didn't even think she worked, but I don't know.
I thought he worked at the mine too for a long time, till I seen him down at the gas station one morning, and I get some coffee, and I said, don't you work at the mine, right? He's like, no, I work for the city.
Mm-hmm.
Guess it's a pretty good job he's telling.
Yeah, I think he's been there for a minute as well.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So, and then coming into this business, we only had Shapiro there for a few months, and we got set up in a interactive portal, and we're paying our rent online through a portal with them. And as I mentioned, as I go to renew my lease, then they're unresponsive, and now there's this Carla out of the blue. It's the strangest thing. And Carla has encouraged me that she is going to get a new lease product in front of me, which my lease, for example, is set to renew here 1st of May. My product is up, end of the week here, basically. What can I say in terms of the kind of response?
What kind of lease are you going to get, Mike? What is it, month to month or an annual?
Purportedly, they've offered me a renewal for a 1-year lease, and that would roll over into whatever the county's going to do, which I'm unaware of yet, how that's going to work and how y'all are going to do your thing. But in the meantime, everybody's up in arms because it just seems so hokey, this whole deal. They wanted us to send them a paper check. And then I told her, well, by the time I go to the bank and get a paper desk check cut, because I don't have a checkbook, and send you a check, it's going to be middle of May. And then she says, well, we'll get the portal interactive by May 1 now, she's trying to say. But the strangest thing about all this is this. I talked to Shaw Manis, who was supposed to be the district manager for Shapiro, at length on the phone several times. The first phone call I got back from this Carla, it's almost sounded like she had a voice like with an ethnic accent or something. But by the time that conversation was over and she dropped into tone in her normal talking voice, she sounds a lot like Shaw Manis on the phone to me. I thought it was very strange at the time. And I don't mean to be dramatic at all. I'm not trying to be dramatic, but that was the impression I got. So a little strange, a little patronizing on the phone in tone and things too. But in the meantime, that's in terms of my immediate needs. That's what I'm looking at as a lease renewal. I have some unmet maintenance needs to address, and definitely curious about what the county's position is going to be. There was a rumor, of course, that rents would be leveled off, or that there would be a moratorium on increases at least, but maybe possibly even a rent decrease for some of us. So be very curious to hear about that. And Tammy, I'm sure, is going to address with you our long-term concerns about the sewer and water there in particular. The water system is on a private well there, and they're sanitizing, I think, with just generic bleach as a
Oh,
chlorine sanitizer.
geez.
And we don't get access to, and we'd like to see the water reports. But at the end of the day, the entire water system, particularly the hot water, throws a heavy rust deposit. And any cold water that you want to use, you have to charcoal, at a minimum, charcoal filter to make any potable use out of. So I don't have too much other than that to address. There's no ongoing.
How about when you go back, how much are your lot leases up to?
So I'm renting a cabin there. I'd have to have one of the trailer owners speak to what the lot rent is.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So you're
The
in a
lot-
cabin.
Yeah, the lot rent
mine's
right now is 625.
818 or 816.
625, okay.
820 somewhere around it.
So you're about
Changes so
820.
much.
And how many are on a month to month there?
Well, I guess I am, because they never sent me
Yeah, they said I had a lease too, but I never got it.
yeah, I never got the thing online.
Yeah, for a fact, I don't have a paper lease from Spiro either.
Right. And that's
They told me
that's
that we would only be paying $750 if we signed a lease. But then they went ahead and upped it almost $100.
and you never got a lease to sign.
No, I never got one. They never sent one to
Uh-huh.
me. They never put one on.
Okay. How many mobile homes are on this call by any chance?
Janet?
I'm in a mobile.
Who is
and,
that?
I am.
Matt is, and then we lost one person, Carrie. She did really want to participate, but she was in for a minute and then dropped out. And
But
Kathy
she's
said she wasn't
she's in
able
a
to get
she's in a
sound.
mobile.
Uh-huh. So there were two people trying to attend for mobiles that couldn't get through.
Okay. Okay. So. Wow. Well, first off, I know we're all on pins and needles until we hear what the county is going to do. And I think once we know what the county is going to do, that will be, at least you will hear whether they're going to be able to buy the parks or not. And the county, so far as I know, is waiting to hear if they get the grant from the state, which is a large sum of money. It's like 2/3 of the purchase price to purchase the parks. And so as far as I know, that word has not come through, but it looks, we've had good positive responses when Amy has called and asked, hey, what's going on? Where's the grant and so forth. So that being said, that piece of that puzzle is going to make a big difference in everybody's life. The other piece, and we'll get into all the weeds here with your maintenance and so forth, but the other piece is you guys and the other mobile homes started to form what they called that 5-star group. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Worst case scenario, or even best, it's real important if you guys could really get that activated, whether you meet and start a date for the month and you actually meet and you talk about things with other mobile home parks to strengthen that organization. That is going to help you more than anything as you move forward with the county or with whatever situation unfolds. So that being said, and that takes a lot of effort, I know. You got to get together, you got to know what you're doing, and and I would certainly be willing to participate in helping you activate that group as much as possible. But that's my little soapbox. Okay.
Are there
So-
multiple parties that want to buy these lots now? I mean, is there like a competition in buying it?
Not, it's not the competition to purchase the properties. It's making the actual deal work. And the county applied for state grants to put in, like I said, almost 2/3 of the purchase price. And that's the key. And so far, hold on, I cough.
So nobody's put in earnest money?
That I don't have access to, Mike, but I
Okay.
do believe, I'm sure they had to put in earnest money. They did put in a contract. They do have a date set with the sellers. So I mean, that transaction is in place contingent on getting that state grant. Because if that state grant doesn't come through, the county can't afford to buy the mobile home parks, bottom line.
Okay.
Uh,
well,
Sally, can I ask a question?
Uh-huh.
Sally, I did hear some talk that there might be a partial purchase arranged if the funding didn't go through, that possibly, let's say that the Treasury had committed to buy at least the Empire Junction location, for example, even if they couldn't make the overall purchase. Is there any truth to that, or is that?
I really don't know that, but I could find out. Because I won't see Amy until Monday.
Mhm.
But what you heard was that the county may be looking at Empire Junction.
As a firm commitment, more so than the feasibility of buying the whole part and parcel anyway.
Interesting. Okay, no, I'll find out, Mike. And by the way, Mike, I do have your telephone number. Tammy had gotten in touch with me also just about the same time as you.
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm Matthew, by the way. Mike's the gentleman sitting in with Tammy on the other screen there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll answer to Mike, though. It's my dad's name, so.
But I'll find out more about if the county is into Empire Junction. But let's get back to your specific situation as your own community. And the reason I ask how many mobile homes are in your group paying lot leases that you hear from is because the mobile home park oversight program, unless they're totally buried in all these requests for assistance all over the state, which could be possible. But they would be the people you need to be making a noise with, because if you complain about what's going on at your park through the mobile park oversight committee, that's going to do a couple of things. One, that's going to register your complaint. You'll get a complaint number with that program. And Tammy, you can access that complaint process online.
Okay,
Okay, it's mobile home park. It's MHPOP. If you Google
yeah, I remember
MHPOP,
that worksheet we got. Okay,
yeah. And they have you file your complaint online. You can read all the things that you guys could be complaining about. And if anything, you're documenting it in the state, the problems with your park. It's not going to come back and bite you, because there's nobody out there that's going to come back after you anyway. You can't even get a hold of them to pay your rent.
I know.
true that.
When you get into that process, your Empire Junction, and it has form, get me involved, and I'm going to piggyback on your complaints
Okay,
to the mobile home park oversight program. And I'll know about the complaints, and you know how I did rental assistance and I kept looking and seeing what the status was. I'll do the same with mobile home park oversight.
okay,
The other thing is that rattles the state's cage. because they're all like in the same building or something. So the people that are giving the funding for the purchase will probably hear that Empire Junction is getting pretty desperate. And maybe that'll start to shake that paperwork. Who knows?
Okay.
I don't think it will hurt anything. You need to be documented what your problems are. And sometimes in the past, when somebody from a mobile home would call me and they'd say, I have this problem, and it's still true in other situations. We talk about it, and you almost were in a position where you couldn't complain because you might get some kind of retribution from your landlord. So that's something we want to know about too. We really need to do as aggressively as possible. And you do have the county's support in your complaints, because one of the commissioners was at the initial meeting for this whole deal. He was literally shocked about the fact that you have nobody to complain to or actually get something done. You can't complain to the health department about your water because they say, well, it's not environmental health. You have to go to the state. Because I've been in this loop too. You go to the state says, this is not our jurisdiction, go back to the county. So, but I'd like to see us really look at something that has some information in it for Mobile Home Park Oversight Committee. So I'll be in the office next week, Monday and Tuesday and half of Wednesday. Let's work on that. Okay, guys?
Okay. Absolutely.
Now, let me just take some input. So the well water, and do you always have water, or does it break off?
Low pressure.
It's a lot of brown water.
What's that, Amy?
It's a lot of brown water. It's not good water. Nobody drinks it really.
But does it ever do you not have it? Does it turn off?
No.
Well,
Okay.
occasionally,
When they're
for sure,
working on
we
the
had
well
that
for a
period
few
last year,
hours.
Tammy, when we went without water there.
When?
Yeah, but you're not having a current problem.
No, not
Even-
current.
Even though it's not potable that you think, it's you're questioning that it's potable or not.
We'd be curious definitely to see heavy metal contents and at least see some kind of test results. It definitely throws a heavy rust deposit, especially through the hot water systems.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, okay, so that's one, is your well water. How's your
Tammy, what happened? Tammy, what did you say to me this week? Or somebody was texting about the leach field, or there's a problem with
Yeah, I
the
was looking for
the
that note
sanitation
right
issue?
now. It was Cassie asking about it. And I'm trying to find her text message here real quick.
Because I know they came out and pumped the septic there a month or so ago, 5 weeks maybe.
Yeah, but
remember there
they
being a
came out,
truck there.
they only did one out of the three of them though. That's what I think got people concerned.
Uh-huh.
out of 3 tanks?
Give me a minute here. Most of the message are asking about the property manager being legit. And then it says here, again, more portal questions. Who do we inform that the lines from the leach field to the tank by Carrie's trailer is leaking again? It is
Okay.
by our fence and behind our truck. And that's coming from Cassie.
And just so I understand, that's a sewage leak?
Yeah, that's what she's saying, and they've had it before over there.
Oh, Cassie,
Uh-huh.
yeah, that's right up by
Okay,
the fence.
so the
Uh-huh.
leach field is bubbling up.
Uh-huh,
And it's and you only saw that one septic got pumped out of 3 tanks.
right. And they
Okay.
probably have only done it once almost since last spring.
Huh.
And that's what, and what would you say that is, Tammy? That's maybe 50 feet from the west fork of Clear Creek?
Right. And
Those are,
that's actually how Mr. Dolph, when I first moved in, Mr. Dolph's on the property. And he got in trouble with that because there was actually fecal material out there. So that's when he sold the property because he didn't want to have to deal with the litigation. And things have just kind of gone downhill since then.
but you have an entirely new septic system out there, don't you? Didn't
Yeah,
the
but
county
it's-
make it
But if
happen?
you don't empty it though, what difference does it make?
Right, but it is new.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, I thought that,
Yeah,
and
because most of our
but-
rents went up $300 to
Yeah.
pay for that new system.
Yeah,
okay, so that's the well water, the leach field. Do you
So
have
in my-
trees? Do you have trees that are a problem in next
He
to?
did have
most
somebody
homes?
come last spring and cut the trees.
Okay.
For
Trees
sure,
aren't,
the
a prob-
general area could use landscaping maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
but the trees aren't a problem, really. Okay,
Now, I called about a year ago about a tree that was interfering with an overhead line. And they came pretty much immediately and took care of that.
good, Janet. Okay.
Janet, now that you're there, did you have anything you wanted to add real quick since you're new to the meeting?
Well, I just wanted to say, you know, I tried Googling Novell communities. I tried Googling her name. I can't think of it right now. Carla Jones.
Uh-huh.
Nothing came up for either one. The address, the only correspondence I've ever received from her has been digital. There's been nothing through USPS, you know, which really makes me question,
yeah.
is this a real person? Is this a real company? I specifically asked her to send me a link to their website. She never has. So yeah, I just question about sending money to a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Can I add a comment to that too, Sally?
Sure.
And bear with me a minute because I'm going to be pretty candid in my remarks, but amidst this whole Shapiro thing in this past last month, I tried to onboard a new candidate that wanted to rent the spare room in my cabin, as I usually keep some kind of local employee. I've got a kid's been living there driving snowcat for Winter Park over the winter, for example. The candidate I sent them submitted his personal information, and as with me, they'd stonewalled him basically and never responded to any of his correspondence or his calls. This young man took it upon himself to assume that they were trying to steal his information or his identity possibly, or to Janet's point, question whether it was a valid company. And he called the sheriff's office. The Clear Creek
Right.
County Sheriff called my house. This young man called my place of employment and talked to the CEO at my company and accused me of identity theft. So their actions at the end of the day are reflecting on me as if I'm over here trying to do some nefarious thing, when all I'm trying to do is find a new housemate for the other room. You know, it's those kind of things that really bring this whole situation to a head for a lot of us.
I'll let you have a little bit on my side on that piece.
Yes, ma'am.
That young man called me with the same fear. He told me he had been to the sheriff's office. I'm not sure if he was actually, if his identity was actually stolen, but he went and shut down his credit. He was scared. And
And granted, I think he's a little bit of a reactionary young man. In my take, he is a little on the uneasy side about things in general. So, and I think
Okay.
was under a lot of pressure, I think, to move out of where he was, and was kind of on a hurry up schedule and started to pressure me therefore. So,
Oh, okay. Well, you know, and so I guess he kind of went loose on it.
Yeah.
a little bit.
And has that continued to be a situation for you?
No, ma'am. No, he spoke to the sheriff's office and they made him to understand that there was no concerns that he needed to have and that he didn't need to be contacting folks or making phone calls. But to my point, the onboarding process is difficult. And I've had another candidate drop out now as well. And I'm very likely to have the back room sitting empty and paying my full rent myself for the month of May at a glance right now. That's how it looks. And I would put
Okay.
that solely on Shapiro at the end of the day. And another thing too, because this Carla lady said something off the cuff about somehow being subcontracted by, or maybe even employed by Shapiro Group somehow. She said the name of the company in our first conversation. So I was really confused about that.